I'd like to introduce you to PAL 2. PAL 2 is PAL's big brother. PAL 2 is just like PAL in the sense that when you turn it on, you get a vertical and horizontal lines that intersect in the middle, a perfect crosshair, which can illuminate the center of an embroidered project, a quilt block, or a hoop. PAL 2 is tall. He's 28 inches tall, and he's stationary, attached to the side of your work surface with a clamp. It's adjustable, perfect for small hoops, and when you raise it up, it's perfect for larger projects. You can even swing it out of the way if you want to just work with a clear work surface. What I love about PAL 2 is it creates what I call my hooping throne. It's a permanent hooping station on my cutting table. I keep my hoop right underneath of it, and I always have a spot ready to hoop. I think you're going to find a lot of uses for PAL 2. I know I have my favorites, and I'll share them with you next. Finding the vertical center of a jacket back is easy. Often there's a seam, or you can fold the garment in half to find the center back. But that horizontal line where we want our lettering to lay perfectly straight is often very hard to mark. So with PAL, we turn on the laser, we align that vertical line with the vertical line of the laser, and then I use painter's tape, aligning the edge of the painter's tape with that beam, and there I have my center back marked absolutely perfect. And when I go to the machine, I just make sure that my design is going to sit right on that line. Remove the painter's tape, and I'm ready to stitch. I like to use PAL 2 with my cutting mat. I turn on PAL and make sure that it is aligned with lines on the mat. And then I place my ruler, not my ruler, but my hoop right on those alignment marks, making sure that the horizontal hash marks hit the horizontal centers of my hoop and the vertical. Then when I take my stabilizer in place, suddenly I can't see my hoop, but it doesn't matter because I can see the exact center of the hoop. And then I take my fabric. And this time I'm doing a beautiful table scarf, and I have a target sticker designating the center of that table scarf because I'm going to do a great big monogram on that. And when I get that all nice and flat and positioned, I know that I'm perfectly square in the hoop. This is very helpful when you're doing embroidery designs that are large and you don't have any wiggle room, as I like to say, where you can actually go and move the design all over. So even if I'm about a 1/4 inch off and I have enough room in the hoop to move the design, then I'll do that when I get to the machine. Or right here, I'll just rehoop and slide that fabric down ever so slightly so that it will be aligned with the bottom hoop. Here I'm stitching a long vertical line of embroidery down this shirt front. I already have my one hooping complete, and I have alignment marks stitched at the end of that design. Now I want to connect the second design. So here's how I do it. I hoop tearaway stabilizer and spray it with temporary adhesive so that I have a sticky surface. I have stitched color 1, which is the alignment marks of my embroidery design. And then I place the hoop right under PAL. I want to make sure that the vertical center is hitting the absolute vertical center of the alignment marks and that the horizontal line is hitting the straight edge of the alignment marks. Then I take my embroidered garment and I place it so that the bottom of that embroidery design, the bottom of that alignment mark, sits right on that beam, and I know underneath of that beam is the next set of alignment marks. So as long as I have this fabric positioned on that sticky stabilizer and secured, I can go to the machine, and when it stitches, it will be a complete design in a perfect straight line. Often I want to add a decorative trim to the outside of a block, and I struggle with marking that maybe with chalk or the quilter's ruler. So on PAL, I just place my quilt block, the edge 1 inch at the 1 inch line, and then that laser beam is showing me exactly where to lay my trim. And I just align that straight edge of the fusible web right to the mark on the quilt block. And I'll repeat for this side, and then I will have this completely positioned. I go to the iron and then I'm ready to add my decorative trim, all in one quick, easy step. I recently met a quilt shop owner who taught me a great way to use PAL, and that's to get rid of that ruler. Just use your cutting mat to determine the width of your strips and turn on that beam and align your blade with the beam and just slice away. I can just keep moving my fabric so that the beam hits it at 2 inches or 4 inches. Let's go ahead and do a 3-inch strip. It's so fast and easy. I just make sure that my straight edge is aligned with the mat, and then when I'm ready to roll that rotary cutter, I know I have a nice straight cut every time. Imagine what you can do with PAL 2. Order yours today and get started.